Hello, everyone, and welcome to our brand new community. I'm Dr. John Smith, and if you're tuning in today, chances are you are looking for real, honest answers on how to protect your health, maintain your absolute independence, and truly thrive in your golden years. Now, I want to start our very first video by asking you to do something incredibly important. Right below this video, there is a comment section. Before we dive into the science today, I want you to go down there and type just one word for me: thrive. Why? Because language matters, action matters. By typing that word, you aren't just interacting with a screen, you are making a conscious, personal promise to yourself and to this community that you are ready to take control of your well-being. We are in this together, and your voice is the foundation of this channel. Let's talk about a brutal truth that you might have never heard in a standard doctor's office. You wake up, you take your prescribed medications exactly on time, you endure the daily pain of pricking your finger, and you follow the rules perfectly. Yet, your blood sugar continues to ride a chaotic roller coaster, and the only solution you are offered is a higher dose. Why is that? It is because we are trying to clear an endless flood without ever turning off the faucet. The real culprit isn't just the sweets you've already cut out. It's the silent, hidden toxins that society has spent decades telling you are healthy, like white bread, refined white rice, and processed breakfast cereals. When these simple, stripped carbohydrates enter your system, they don't just raise your numbers. They trigger deep systemic inflammation, forcing your pancreas to work overtime until it faces complete exhaustion. But here is the great news, and the real reason I wanted to start this channel for you. Type 2 diabetes is not a life sentence. That is a myth we have been led to believe for far too long. Modern science proves that your body is an extraordinary survival machine, and with the right tools, this condition is completely reversible. You can break free from the cycle of constant medication, stay far away from the surgeon's scalpel, and truly reclaim your vitality. To win this battle, we have to understand the root cause. High blood glucose is not the actual disease. It is simply a symptom. It is the smoke, not the fire. It is your body's desperate cry for help because it no longer knows how to process the heavy load of refined foods entering your system every day. Today, I am putting the #1 biological weapon against diabetes directly into your hands. It isn't a rare, exotic fruit from the other side of the world, and it certainly isn't a pricey pharmaceutical drug. It is a humble, budget-friendly staple that you likely already have in your pantry right now. According to long-term clinical data from Harvard University and major European research institutions, this simple food possesses 3 devastating powers against diabetes. First, it flattens post-meal blood sugar spikes naturally. Second, it wakes up your cells and forces them to regain their sensitivity to insulin. And third, it cools down the chronic inflammation that silently damages your eyes and kidneys over time. Before I share the exact name of this dietary powerhouse, you need to understand how the enemy operates. If you don't understand the root of the problem, you cannot defeat it. So, let's paint a clear picture together. Every time you eat, your body converts that food into glucose. Glucose is your primary fuel. It is life, it is energy. But for that fuel to actually give you strength, it has to get inside the furnace, which means it has to enter your cells. Now, who holds the key to the cellular door? A hormone called insulin. Think of insulin as a key, and think of the billions of cells in your body as doors with tiny locks. In a perfectly healthy body, the insulin key slides right into the lock, turns smoothly, the door swings wide open, and the sugar rushes in to create pure energy. Everything works in perfect, beautiful harmony. But in type 2 diabetes, a silent tragedy takes place. The insulin keys are still there, but the locks on your cells have become deeply rusted. The key goes into the lock, but it refuses to turn. The door stays shut. As a result, all that glucose gets trapped outside, left to float aimlessly in your bloodstream. What happens to all that trapped glucose? It turns into microscopic shards of glass floating through your bloodstream. It begins to scrape and damage your blood vessels. This is exactly why your blood glucose meter shows those alarming numbers. But the real danger isn't just having too much sugar in your blood. The immediate crisis is that your cells are literally starving to death right next to an ocean of fuel they cannot access. Meanwhile, your poor pancreas is in a state of sheer panic. It sees the sugar floating around, so it starts producing insulin frantically. It works double, triple, even 10 times its normal capacity, desperately trying to force those rusted locks open. It works until it is completely exhausted, until it finally collapses. And that moment, when the factory shuts down, is when a doctor usually hands you a prescription and says, "You'll need to inject insulin for the rest of your life." But hold on, this tragedy is entirely avoidable. Those cellular locks do not rust on their own, just because we are getting older. We rust them. Every time we consume refined flour, industrial sugar, and inflammatory vegetable oils, we are practically spraying acid directly onto our cellular locks. Insulin resistance is the real culprit here. High blood sugar is just the scene of the crime. To put this into perspective with our first new medical fact today, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, this continuous vascular damage is why up to half of all people with diabetes develop nerve damage, known as diabetic neuropathy. The excess sugar literally damages the walls of the tiny blood vessels that nourish your nerves, especially in your legs and feet. When you change the fuel you put into your body, your cells can actually heal. Your insulin sensitivity returns, your pancreas finally gets to rest, and your blood sugar drops naturally. No medical miracles or invasive surgeries required. The entire secret lies in understanding the difference between two types of carbohydrates. You have probably been told to avoid all carbs, but that is a dangerous half-truth. The first type are empty, refined carbohydrates, the enemy. Think of fluffy white bread, pastries, and sweets. These are structurally stripped, entering your bloodstream instantly and destroying your cellular locks. The second type are whole, intact carbohydrates, the savior. These are the ones that Mother Nature has carefully wrapped in a protective armor of fiber. Think of fiber as a giant biological sponge inside your digestive tract. When you consume it, this sponge traps the sugar, holds onto it tightly, and releases it slowly, drop by drop, into your system. The result? The steep, vertical blood sugar spikes after you eat completely disappear. Furthermore, this fiber feeds your gut microbiome, the army of beneficial bacteria living inside you, which turns off systemic inflammation from the inside out, protecting your eyes, kidneys, and heart. To back this up with our second piece of new medical evidence today, a landmark consensus statement from the American Diabetes Association, ADA, highlights that high-fiber diets don't just manage glucose, they significantly lower systemic low-grade inflammation and improve the lipid profile, substantially reducing the risk of cardiovascular events in older adults. Choosing the right carbohydrate is quite literally choosing life. So, what is this incredible, almost sacred food capable of doing all three things at once? Lowering your post-meal glucose, turning off inflammation, and breaking through insulin resistance. Many of you have been completely misled by the commercial food industry. They want you to believe that health comes packaged in expensive boxes, synthetic powders, or exotic fruits imported from across the globe at ridiculous prices. Please stop wasting your hard-earned money. The solution to saving your pancreas is likely sitting in your kitchen cupboard right now. It is something simple, traditional, and incredibly affordable. The number one food group that modern science confirms has the biological power to help reverse type 2 diabetes is legumes. We are talking about lentils, chickpeas, black beans, pinto beans, and kidney beans. Now, please don't be discouraged if someone previously told you to stay away from them because beans have carbs. That is a massive mistake. Legumes are not ordinary carbohydrates. They are nature's medicine, tightly wrapped in a protective suit of armor made of fiber and plant-based protein. Let's break down exactly why these tiny grains are the absolute nemesis of diabetes. First, it's that sponge effect we talked about. Legumes are packed with soluble fiber. Once they enter your digestive tract, they form a thick, natural gel that traps sugars and slows down their absorption. This means no more roller coasters on your glucose meter, just smooth, stable numbers. The second reason legumes are so incredibly powerful is because they feed your internal allies. Deep inside your gut live trillions of bacteria that make up your microbiome. Legumes are their absolute favorite feast. When these beneficial bacteria consume the prebiotic fibers found in beans, they produce something truly remarkable: short-chain fatty acids. These compounds act as potent, localized anti-inflammatories that repair your cells and actively boost your insulin sensitivity from the inside out. Third, consider the difference in digestion speed. Eating a plate of refined white rice is the biological equivalent of launching a sugar missile directly into your bloodstream. Boom, your glucose skyrockets instantly. A plate of lentils, on the other hand, behaves like a calm, slow-flowing river. The glucose enters your system so gently and gradually that your pancreas never experiences a moment of shock. That is the fundamental difference. Legumes are smart, complex carbohydrates. They are designed by nature to serve your body, not to harm it. Let's look at the hard data, because I am not here to give you my personal opinion or sell you empty promises. The largest, most prestigious medical journals in the world confirm this without a shadow of a doubt. A massive multi-year Harvard study that followed tens of thousands of individuals discovered a golden rule. Those who consume legumes just 3 to 4 times a week have a significantly lower risk of developing severe blood sugar complications. And for those who are already managing diabetes, legumes act as a powerful tool to improve your A1C levels. Your A1C is the ultimate progress report. It represents the unbiased memory of your blood sugar levels over the last 3 months. The evidence doesn't stop there. Over in Europe, a clinical trial demonstrated that when individuals simply replaced their standard refined white carbohydrates with legumes, they saw measurable changes in exactly 12 weeks, less than 3 months. Their post-meal glucose dropped significantly, their cellular insulin resistance began to recede, and in several cases, their physicians were safely able to reduce their daily medication dosages. All of this was achieved not through a prescription drug costing thousands of dollars, but through a small, affordable shift on a dinner plate. But here is the most crucial, life-saving piece of information you need to hear. Older adults managing diabetes rarely face severe complications from the glucose itself. The real threat comes from cardiovascular complications. As we discussed, chronically high glucose acts like tiny shards of glass, scraping the inner walls of your arteries, causing deep-seated inflammation and leading to plaque buildup. Legumes act as natural vascular sweepers. They help lower LDL cholesterol, the bad kind, reduce blood pressure, and maintain the elasticity of your blood vessels. With one simple dietary change, you achieve 2 massive goals. You stabilize your glucose, and you protect your heart. Let's vindicate healthy carbohydrates once and for all. I know exactly what might be crossing your mind right now. But Dr. Smith, beans and lentils still contain carbohydrates, so shouldn't I cut them out entirely? Please banish that outdated idea from your mind immediately. Not all carbohydrates are created equal. Refined sugar and white flour are what I call naked carbs. They have been stripped of all their nutrients, meaning they hit your bloodstream like a tidal wave and cause massive insulin spikes. Legumes, however, are carbohydrates with armor. The starches inside them are safely locked away behind a thick, natural matrix made of dietary fiber, plant protein, iron, magnesium, and potassium. When you eat a warm bowl of lentil soup, your body has to work incredibly hard just to break down that natural armor. Because of this slow process, the sugar is released into your system gently and steadily. Meanwhile, the magnesium helps your insulin keys turn in those locks. The potassium protects your blood pressure, and the protein helps preserve your muscle mass, which is absolutely vital for maintaining our strength and mobility as we age. It is a complete, masterfully designed nutritional package meant to help your body heal. Look at the blue zones around the world, the specific regions where people routinely live vibrant, active lives well past the age of 100. In these communities, type 2 diabetes and chronic metabolic diseases are practically unheard of. What is the cornerstone of their daily diet? They don't eat heavily processed foods, they eat legumes. Every single day, they consume lentils, chickpeas, and black beans. That is the true longevity secret of our ancestors, a timeless wisdom that modern medical science is finally validating. So, you might be wondering, why hasn't anyone written you a prescription for a bowl of lentils? The answer is heartbreakingly simple. There is no profit in a bean. Pharmaceutical companies cannot patent a chickpea. They cannot put a pinto bean into a shiny plastic capsule and sell it to you at an exorbitant markup. It is too affordable, too common, and too accessible. But I don't care about their profit margins. I care about your quality of life, your independence, and your longevity. Now, I am not promising you a miracle overnight. Healing takes time, but I can promise you this. If you use this powerful dietary tool correctly, you can completely change the direction of your health journey. You can actively protect your eyes, your kidneys, and your nerve health. However, incorporating legumes into your life requires a bit of strategy. If you prepare them incorrectly, you might experience bloating and gas, get discouraged, and give up entirely. That is why I need you to keep your eyes glued to the screen. Knowing that a food is good for you is only half the battle. Knowing how to prepare and eat it properly is what actually changes your life. The difference between someone who heals and someone who stays stuck in the same cycle comes down to practical, daily action. Let's dive straight into the strategic preparation steps you need to master. First, let's talk about consistency, which I call the golden frequency. Do not just eat legumes randomly whenever you happen to think of it. Make it a standard part of your weekly routine. The magic number for your body is 3 to 5 times per week. Your metabolism requires consistent, predictable signals to repair cellular locks and lower chronic inflammation. So consistency is key. Do not eat them once and then forget about them for a month. Make them a permanent, dependable ally for your pancreas. Second, you must learn the formula for the perfect glucose-shielding plate. Never eat a bowl of legumes completely by themselves. Instead, you want to create a powerful nutritional synergy. Start with a base of 1 cup of cooked lentils or chickpeas. Next, add your allies, a generous portion of non-starchy green vegetables like steamed broccoli, fresh spinach, or roasted peppers. Finally, drizzle a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil or add a few slices of fresh avocado for healthy fats, and absolutely eliminate empty enemies like white bread or white rice from that meal. This specific combination is incredibly effective because you are building a biological shield around your digestion. Combining the complex fiber of the legumes with the structural fiber of the green vegetables and the slow-digesting healthy fats slows your digestion down to an absolute crawl. In medical terms, we are drastically lowering the glycemic load of your meal. When you eat this way, the needle on your blood glucose meter will barely move, keeping your blood vessels entirely safe from sharp, damaging spikes. Third, timing is everything, and lunch is the absolute ideal moment to enjoy your legumes. They provide an incredibly stable, slow-burning source of clean energy that will keep your mind sharp and your body energized all through the afternoon. This steady energy delivery completely eliminates those stubborn 4 p.m. cravings for sweets or processed snacks that so many of my patients struggle with. You can certainly enjoy them for dinner as well, but I recommend eating at least 3 hours before bed and keeping the portions slightly lighter, perhaps pairing them with a warm vegetable soup or a crisp salad. Finally, let's address the biggest hurdle that holds people back: digestive discomfort and gas. I hear it all the time from folks who say, "Dr. Smith, I want to eat beans, but they make me feel so bloated and uncomfortable." Please do not give up, because this only happens if you skip the proper preparation steps. To fix this, you just need to follow a simple 3-step soaking and cooking method that removes the hard-to-digest compounds, which we will break down in detail next, so your gut can adapt smoothly. The first step to entirely eliminating digestive discomfort is a mandatory overnight soak. You must place your dry legumes in a large bowl of water for at least 8 to 12 hours before cooking. When you are ready to prepare them, discard that soaking water completely and rinse them thoroughly under cold running water before cooking them in fresh, clean water. This simple step alone safely removes up to 80% of the oligosaccharides, the specific complex sugars that cause gas and bloating. The second step is a slow and thorough cooking process. You want to cook your legumes until they are completely soft, meaning they can be easily mashed against the roof of your mouth or flattened effortlessly with a fork. If you have a pressure cooker at home, I highly encourage you to use it, as the high heat and pressure break down stubborn plant lectins beautifully. Never rush the process, and eat beans that are still slightly firm or undercooked, as that is a surefire recipe for a stomachache. The third step is what I call progressive intestinal training. If you haven't eaten beans in years, do not sit down and consume a massive bowl of chili on day 1. You need to give your gut microbiome time to adjust and build up the specific enzymes needed to process fiber. Start small by adding just 1/4 of a cup of lentils to your meals 3 times a week. After about 2 weeks of this gentle introduction, your digestive tract will adapt completely, and you will be able to enjoy full portions with absolute comfort. Now, I must share an important medical warning for anyone managing advanced kidney health issues. If you have been diagnosed with chronic kidney disease or renal insufficiency, you must practice caution with your portions because legumes are naturally rich in potassium and phosphorus. However, it is worth noting that modern nephrology increasingly prefers high-quality plant proteins over heavy meats because plant protein is significantly gentler on filtration systems. Simply take a list of your favorite legumes to your primary specialist so you can safely adjust the exact portions that fit your specific laboratory markers. Ultimately, I want you to remember that changing your diet isn't just about changing what you eat. It is a form of real biological therapy. When you start making these small, intentional adjustments in your kitchen, your body will respond by functioning better, feeling stronger, and thanking you for years to come. I am a realist, and I don't expect you to revolutionize your entire life overnight. All I am asking of you today is to join me in a simple, straightforward, 7-day dietary experiment to see the results with your own eyes. All I want you to do is properly change just 3 meals this upcoming week, and we will let your trusted glucose meter be the ultimate judge of your success. Let's look at our simple 7-day strategic meal plan, starting with Monday lunch. On this day, I want you to completely replace your standard white rice or potatoes with a cup of beautifully seasoned, well-cooked green lentils. Mix them gently with some finely chopped carrots, onions, and a touch of cumin. Then drizzle a generous tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil over the top. Make sure there is no white bread or empty carbohydrates on the table, and measure your blood sugar exactly 2 hours after finishing. That number is going to put a massive smile on your face. Next up is Wednesday dinner, where we are going to craft a light, refreshing, yet deeply satisfying meal. Prepare a large salad bowl filled with your favorite dark leafy greens, and toss in half a cup of tender, pre-soaked chickpeas. Squeeze some fresh lemon juice. Add another drizzle of olive oil, and top it off with half a creamy, sliced avocado. This specific combination provides a wonderful, slow-burning fullness without any heaviness. It will allow you to sleep like a baby through the night, and when you check your fasting blood sugar the very next morning, you are going to receive a truly wonderful surprise. To wrap up our experiment, we look at Friday lunch, where we will bring in a rich, traditional staple, well-simmered black beans or red kidney beans. Pair this comforting bowl with a generous side of fresh, vibrant broccoli florets, steamed until they are just tender. Pay close attention to how you feel 2 hours after this meal, and compare your energy levels to the usual afternoon slump you might experience after eating heavy, refined grains. Instead of feeling foggy, exhausted, and ready for a long nap, you are going to feel completely awake, vibrant, and full of natural vitality to enjoy your afternoon. There is a fascinating biological reason why this works so beautifully, and medical science refers to it as the second meal effect. When you consume a high-fiber, low-glycemic food like legumes for lunch, the slow digestion process creates an active metabolic shield that continuously stabilizes your blood sugar all the way through to your evening dinner. With just one single dietary choice, you harvest a double benefit that lasts for hours. Please do not fall into the trap of using a busy schedule as an excuse to neglect your health, because this strategy can easily fit into any lifestyle. If you are short on time during the week, simply cook a large, comforting pot of beans or lentils on Sunday afternoon, portion it out, and keep it in your refrigerator for the days ahead. If you prefer the convenience of using canned legumes, that is perfectly fine too. Just make sure to place them in a colander and rinse them thoroughly under cold running tap water for a full minute to wash away any excess processing sodium. Keep your meals exciting by alternating between green lentils, red lentils, chickpeas, and pinto beans, so your palate never gets bored. The truth is, protecting your health does not have to be complicated, even if the commercial food industries try to convince you otherwise to sell you synthetic alternatives. But hold on, don't turn off the video just yet, because I have a vital medical warning for you. Introducing healthy legumes into your weekly routine is a massive step forward, but all of your efforts will be completely useless if you continue to make a few silent, common mistakes. In my years of practice, I have seen far too many patients come into my office feeling absolutely defeated, saying, "Dr. Smith, I'm eating the lentils just like you recommended, so why aren't my numbers improving?" The truth can be tough to hear. They are accidentally destroying their own progress, essentially trying to build a beautiful house while throwing matches at the foundation. Today, I want to expose these traps clearly so you do not become the next victim. The first major pitfall is what I call the compensation trap. It is incredibly dangerous to treat your metabolism like a simple math calculator, thinking, well, I had a very healthy bowl of lentil soup for lunch, so I've earned the right to have a big slice of sugary cake this afternoon. Your body is a complex biological ecosystem, not a basic scoreboard of addition and subtraction. If you eat legumes to cool down the internal fire of insulin resistance, but then turn around and pour sugary sodas or processed cookies down your throat, you are actively throwing gasoline right back onto the flames. You cannot build up your cellular health and tear it down at the exact same time. You have to choose a side. The second trap is unknowingly turning your natural medicine into an absolute toxin by using the wrong cooking oils. You could be preparing the highest quality organic chickpeas on the market, but if you toss them into a hot frying pan filled with cheap industrial vegetable oils, you have just neutralized all the health benefits. Heavily refined oils like canola, corn, soybean, or generic vegetable oil blends sold in clear plastic bottles are highly unstable. The moment they are heated, they oxidize instantly and transform into inflammatory compounds that worsen insulin resistance. If you need to use fat for flavor, always stick to extra virgin olive oil or pure avocado oil, added gently after cooking. The final mistake is rushing the process and giving up due to digestive impatience. Many well-meaning folks hear that beans are great for diabetes, so the very next day they eat 2 massive bowls of chili, blow up like a balloon, experience sharp bloating, and swear off legumes forever. Let's be fair to your body. You cannot expect someone who has been sitting on the couch for years to successfully run a full 26-mile marathon on day one. Your digestive tract needs time to adapt and recruit the right bacterial workers to handle an increase in healthy fiber. Start small, stay patient, and let your internal ecosystem adjust naturally. The fourth mistake is playing a dangerous game with destiny by stopping your medications on your own. Because legumes are so highly effective, some people get excited when they see their initial numbers drop and decide to throw their prescriptions in the trash. Never, under any circumstances, alter your medication or insulin dosages without the direct supervision of your physician. Doing so can cause your blood sugar to skyrocket unexpectedly, landing you straight in the emergency room. The correct, safe way to win this battle is to let your lifestyle changes lower your glucose naturally. Allow your doctor to see those stellar lab results and let them safely reduce your doses. Finally, we must avoid the illusion of isolation, forgetting that health is a complete lifestyle package. You can eat the most perfect balance of lentils and vegetables in the world, but if you are staying up until 2 in the morning, living in a constant state of unmanaged stress, and sitting on the couch for 12 hours a day, the hormone cortisol will completely undermine your success. True health is a beautifully coordinated symphony. While proper nutrition is undoubtedly the main conductor, it absolutely requires restorative sleep, gentle daily movement, and peace of mind to create the melody of lasting healing. I want to close our time together today by shattering the ultimate myth that keeps so many older adults trapped: the belief that type 2 diabetes is an irreversible downward spiral. For years, you may have been told to simply accept your diagnosis and manage your decline with an ever-growing pill organizer. That is an outdated perspective. Your body is a masterpiece of resilience, and as long as you are breathing, it will fight to heal itself if you simply provide the correct biological tools. You now have those tools in your hands. You know the true enemy is insulin resistance, and you know your greatest, most affordable ally is sitting in your kitchen pantry. Do not promise anything to me today. Instead, make a promise to your own health and independence. Try our 3-meal legume experiment this week, monitor your numbers, and watch how your sleep deepens, your mind clears, and your energy returns. Don't forget to head down to the comments right now and type THRIVE to lock in your commitment to this journey, and share this video with someone you care about who needs a real spark of hope. Subscribe to the channel today, because in our very next video, I am going to show you exactly how to pair these foods for maximum flavor and zero stress. I'm Dr. John Smith. Thank you for your trust, stay strong, and I will see you in the next video.